What's going on, guys? It's Expo Jesse. Today we're going to be going over my monthly recap for April and also doing the weekly, I guess, pre-market kind of watch list for this week. Looking over news, and I'm actually going to pull up Forex Factory here in just a second. And we're going to take a look at news this week as well. This week we have a lot of news on Wednesday. I remember that from last week. So we'll look over that after the recap. So monthly recap for April was actually pretty good. Continued with forex, which is a new alert for me. Most of the time I or previously I've traded forex. It's just been on my own. But so I opened it up and started alerting forex, and it's been good. What people don't understand is forex is, for me, it's much more about risk to reward than it is win rate. And so obviously I have a good risk to reward across the board. But my actual P&L that I take home is not much different on Forex versus like NQ, for example, or futures. If I'm hitting, let's see, an 850% play, I'm probably only taking home, 400 or 500% of that. So, or 4 or 5 R versus Forex. If I hit, 237%, I'm probably bringing home 200% of that. So I actually make more on forex even with a smaller win rate, which is unique. But yeah, good month across the board. Options, 29 alerts, not including break evens. I accidentally kept one on there, but I don't keep break evens on here because I do take break evens a fair amount. At almost a 4 risk to reward. So 3 and some change here, and an 86% win rate. Futures, 37 alerts, not including break evens, even though these two were counted. 81% with over 3 risks to reward, which means my average winner is 3 times my average loser. And you can see that here. Take profit. I don't have a lot of tens. Here's a 150 point, 121 point. So yes, futures can be, especially the alerts can be a little bit quicker than. I might alert it because I enter and then send the alert because I don't paper trade. So there sometimes is a little bit of a difference in price, but as long as you're using the alerts how they're meant to be used, not as, alerts to buy or sell, but trade ideas, then you'll be squared away. And even if not, the 37.5 points here, 50 points, I do capture a lot of points. So moving forward, Forex, 63% win rate, 170% winners, and 2,700% total profit. I think for the month I was somewhere around, 16% or so. So pretty incredible, 16R. So really good there. So let's go ahead and I will screenshot news for the week here on Forex Factory. Delete, and copy that. So we have on Monday some 10 o'clock news, PMI, and then JOLTS on Tuesday, and non-farm employment change on Wednesday, along with the rest of the stuff happening at 2 p.m. So Thursday is unemployment and Friday is actually NFP. So going to be a really heavy fundamental week for the market. Monday and Tuesday, I'm probably not going to be looking to do much more than scalp. I can't imagine that big money is going to want to move the markets before we get our federal funds rate decision or announcement, and then the press conference as well. That 2 o'clock and 2:30 time is going to be pretty volatile for the market. I think we're probably just going to wait until Wednesday. For me, more Thursday because I only trade 9:30 to 11. So, in the future that'll change. I'll trade 8 a.m. to 11 with Forex, but for now it's still 9:30 to 11. So some days like Wednesday, it's just going to be chalked up. And then Thursday, like I said, unemployment, and Friday is NFP. So moving on up, I will start with Dixie. Because Dixie will have a correlation with the market as well, like the NASDAQ and the ES futures. So starting on the monthly time frame, talked about this in the discords, but we had a liquidity grab, which we'll see pretty clearly on the weekly and daily time frame, but we're still stuck inside this big fair value gap from a while ago. And so I'll mark this one as a purple one because it's a monthly time frame fair value gap. So back in February, price came down, wicked under here, and shot back up. We came up and wanted this fair value gap here, right? Boom, boom. And grabbed some. It looks like we almost grabbed or barely grabbed some liquidity in there, and then now we're shooting down. We'll see when we actually, let's just drop to the Wednesday or the weekly, and you'll see that we ended the week. We did go 2-1-2 down, so strat entry, but we ended almost like a doji. So this week's kind of going to be indecision after a week of indecision, and that's essentially what a doji is indecision, right? So with this doji, I think Monday, Tuesday we're not going to see much. Wednesday morning we're not going to see much. And Thursday, Friday, we're going to either come back down here and grab some more liquidity or shoot back up. Now, the area that I'm really targeting on the weekly is going to be here. And if I can mark this as yellow, it'll be a little easier to see. That is a weekly break of structure fair value gap. So as you can see, if I can do it correctly, it's blue, which on my indicator, which is free, you can see that all blue break of structure fair value gaps. I think it's also from Nephew Sam if he still does that, but all blue rectangles are break of structure fair value gaps. They hold a little bit more importance to me because they show that it had the liquidity to break structure. So on the daily time frame, here's what I'm looking at, right? So until we can break over 102.59, I'm bearish all the way down to this level here, which would be the bottom of this fair value gap, the monthly one, 416, maybe a little bit lower. Reason is we're still stuck inside of this. Sorry, missed that one. Still stuck inside this guy here. So that's kind of where we've been stuck for the last, since the 17th, so 13 days from today. So I'd really like to see us keep this. This looks almost like a shooter. Go 2 down and continue to grab some liquidity. I forgot to show here on the weekly time frame, right? This was the prior weekly low. And I messed that up. Sorry, trend line here. Right, this was sell side liquidity. We came through on the daily time frame. It's even more clear. Came through and wicked under and grabbed some liquidity. We don't have a fair value gap yet. So if price does do something like this where it just shoots up, bases, and then shoots up, I'd be looking at a fair value gap in this area to enter in, entering, something like this. So it's kind of my game plan for Dixie this week. Really mostly looking to go short until we can break some key levels, either 102.50, 102.519 or 99.416. I'm pretty bearish overall on Dixie, which means the market should go up if they inverse Dixie, right? So then we go over here to NQ, and I look at the monthly chart, and this is pretty much where I would have my buy side liquidity, right at 13,740. So and 75 cents if you want to be super specific. Now looking at the monthly chart, I really would have liked this move down to drop into this break of structure fair value gap and then shoot up. Then I would really have a case to be bullish, but I think this, it's price doesn't always have to fill every fair value gap, right? We still have fair value gaps from back here that aren't filled, so they don't have to fill, especially if the market's going to continue to go up. I would have really liked to have it been filled though. If we do, if we do get fundamental news that shoots us downward, that's kind of where I would be buying the bulk of my long-term portfolio, or adding into my long-term portfolio pretty heavy. Right. So on the weekly, we had an outside bar. So grab some liquidity from the sell side, this little short-term sell side liquidity. And I think we're probably this week going to see 13,740 unless we don't move at all before Wednesday. Tomorrow, I'd really like to get into this fair value gap here between the this fair value gap right here, and I'd really like to be in there, and that's where I'd kind of load my position to go up another 700 points. We also grabbed this fair value gap, the bullish fair value gap, wicked a little bit under, but something I've been working on, let's say for forex, I'm just setting a buy limit here. I'm going to set my stop loss at the candle 1, right? So there's 3 candles in the fair value gap: candle 1, candle 2, which is the candle that leaves the body of the candle is the fair value gap, and then candle 3. I'm putting my stops below candle 1, and the reason is because this fair value gap, for me, if I'm going to have a position, I want to have several hurdles between me and my stop loss, several places where price can go, grab more liquidity. Because say you're not going to catch every move as soon as it happens, and you're not going to catch the biggest green candle as we go bullish or the biggest red candle as we go bearish. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're leaving yourself enough room so that when price retraces, and if you're in a long position, if price retraces, it has to go lower to get more buyers to go higher, right? That's just how the market works. And so for me, the stop loss, there's 3 hurdles. There's hurdle 1 here, which is the bottom of the fair value gap. There's hurdle 2 here, which is the bottom of the candle candle 2. And there's the hurdle 3 here. And I'll put my stop just below this hurdle 3. And obviously hindsight would have worked here for sure, but it's kind of what I've found has worked well for me. So NQ for this week, pretty bullish on it. We're looking at pretty much the top of our range here. And then this isn't showing up on my indicator, but here's a fair value gap to the right. So we are in a fat daily fair value gap. So something to watch. Like I said a couple times here, Wednesday is really going to be the time that we're looking to do something. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you can see my next uploads. All right. Have a good day, guys.